How was your off-season different this year as opposed to last year? Last year you were coming off a heavy workload, not as many innings this time around. How has it changed for you?
The offseason really hasn't changed all that much. I would say maybe the focus slightly altered just because I felt like there was areas outside of baseball that I had done a really good job of preparing myself the previous 2 years that I needed to kind of get back to, which I had lost throughout the course of the last season. So the offseason didn't really change, but the focus might have ever so slightly just outside of baseball.
Quinn, it's probably not speaking out of school to say that you didn't have the year that you expected to have maybe last year, just in terms of like the trajectory of the season.
Sure.
What do you take from that? Like, what's a learning experience from a year where the physical stuff wasn't quite synced up, the success wasn't quite what you wanted? What do you take out of that?
Yeah, last year was definitely not what I had anticipated or expected. A lot of things did not pan out and didn't happen the way I would have loved to. And at times it was like watching a movie where I'd been given bits and pieces of advice that I probably should have paid more attention to early in the year, even before the season started in spring. Having got to spend a good chunk of time specifically with like Sonny, where he had said just like these nitbits of things that you don't really like think about, and then all of a sudden they're playing out in front of your eyes and you're like, oh my goodness, like I really should have listened. So they're just learning there. Like all I have to do is learn and continue to try to progress and be the best pitcher I can be, because at the end of the day 2026 is a new year and the stats are out the window, so who cares? So now it's just here we go.
Is there an example of one of those you can share with us, like a thing that Sonny gave you that you were like, oh yeah, that?
We'll probably keep those private for now. Until, maybe a little further down the road, if anyone remembers this conversation that we're having now, which I'm sure you guys all will, maybe I'll be willing to share one of those stories for sure.
You said your focus strayed. What took you off course, or do you have any examples? Or?
Yeah, I just think, dealing with some stuff for the first time in my career. As an athlete, I'd never really dealt with a lingering injury that, I didn't wake up the next day, I'm like, oh, okay, like I'll be okay today. Like I had to, unfortunately, go through the process of rehabbing, and just a couple focuses. I'd say specifically the weight room. We've had conversations now with the organization in terms of the focus there and how important I think the weight room really is for my personal success. And I felt like at times that it may have deviated. So again, learning myself as well as, the organization learning me and what I need. It is tough being a young player in the system. So, we're all learning.
The way you described that, it almost sounds like there was a desire maybe to ratchet back some of the weight room stuff and you felt like you were missing it, or like backward?
A little bit backwards. I would say at times, like I enjoy the weight room. I enjoy putting up weight, putting force into the ground, things like that. And again, I'm not naturally a very strong human being, so I have to work hard in the weight room, even though I don't love the weight room, to be able to produce the force in order to throw a baseball.
What was that, I guess, like experience like of having to land on the IL and then go through rehab and kind of have the season paused in that sense?
Mm-hmm. I definitely, for the first time in my career, couldn't take my health for granted. Like I said, I had never missed a game in any sport ever that I'd ever played because of injury or illness. So it was definitely weird, week by week, missing a start. So you just realize that, your health isn't something to take for granted, and I kind of just refocused a little bit, and hopefully throughout my career just appreciate the fact that, I have had good health, and I'll hopefully continue to have great health, and that's all you can really ask for in sports.
How much of those experiences kind of shape what your offseason has looked like in preparing for 2026?
A lot, because I think a lot of the flaws that I had realized had developed in my game and as just a human being kind of showed their true colors in the nature. And a lot of those things we were trying to, I'm not going to say fix, but steer back onto the right course.
Is it hard for you to not overly focus on some of the negative, whether it be your own personal perspective on what is negative or not? Like, especially within a start and having struggled throughout the year, is it hard to like recenter yourself and focus on the good and work from there?
Yeah, because I would say naturally I'm like not a pessimistic human. I call myself a realist, but maybe a little more like the pessimistic side of things. So it can be tough. And yeah, Glasnow uses the term mound traumas. So I had a lot of those last year. But then like when I reflect on my career, if you go back and look at my sophomore year in college, I would take last year's mound traumas over the ones I had my sophomore year. So again, it's just like building blocks where it's like, I had bad outings and I'm appreciative that people think, whatever my outings were last year were bad. That's what the expectation is for me. Like it is so high and that's great. That's where I want it to be. That's the expectation for myself. So, I'm going to have more bad outings in my career, and hopefully I'm a little more strong-minded and I can get through it and wake up the next day and not be as frustrated as I was last year, as I was my sophomore year of college.
Having some time in big league camp last year, how does that prepare you for hopefully getting back there this year and staying there longer or cracking out of camp?
Yeah, I don't know if people know this, but I think I was literally the first guy sent down last year out of our big league camp. I think I was the first meeting, so I was like, all right, so maybe I'll just be the second meeting this year. That's the expectations. Hopefully not just be the first guy. But no, I mean, there'll be a lot of new faces this year, so it'll be interesting to see that dynamic. And last year I was put in the best situation I could have been. I was basically Sonny Gray's dog most of the time. Like, it was basically, hey, Quinn, like, just try and absorb as much info from this guy as you humanly can. And I tried my best, and whether I annoyed him or not, or had to hang out with his kids just to try and get bits and pieces of his knowledge, I was willing to do it. And unfortunately, won't have that opportunity this year, but hopefully it's prepared me not just for this spring training, but for the rest of my career. So I'm appreciative for Sonny for all that.
You did get the chance to strike out Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in that appearance. So, how cool was that? And, do you just kind of lock that moment away, or is it do you allow it to inspire you to work harder, or is it confirmation to you that I'm getting close enough to be in this space with these guys that everybody looks up to?
Spring training's always tough, especially when you're facing Vladimir Guerrero Jr. because, I mean, he's got a 2-2 count. For him, it's like, if there's a pitch up, I'm going to hammer it. If not, I'll swing and miss. Who cares? I'm still Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Versus I'm the guy that's supposed to be like, oh my goodness, right? So no, I mean, it was an awesome opportunity. Obviously, facing that Blue Jays lineup, I faced a lot of those starters in that outing, which kudos to them for making the World Series and being 2 outs away from winning the World Series. So obviously, the opportunity was awesome just to start in a big league spring training game. Yeah, I made an okay change up to Vladdy. But again, a swing and miss in a spring training game to him doesn't mean a whole lot. He's up there just trying to get his timing in and stuff like that. And I mean, if I face him again, if I throw that changeup again, do I expect him to have a completely different approach? Probably. So we'll see.
For all the productive and useful stuff you got from Sonny last spring,
Mm-hmm.
did he give you things where you're like, I'm not doing that?
No, not really. Sonny's kind of just straight to the point. It's like I said, when he gives you bits of advice or information, it's kind of like, all right, he's not just there to. I mean, I'm not going to say he doesn't have fun. He has fun and he enjoys what he does, but.
Like a different cat, right? So I wondered if there were things that worked for Sonny that maybe you're like, no.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure there is. He is a very unique human being, and he goes about his business very uniquely. But no, most of the time it was like I said, there was a couple things that he had said to me. He might not even remember saying them to me, if I'm being completely honest with you, but I watched them kind of flash before my eyes throughout the year last year.
Along those lines, Quinn, Sonny is, I think he's been pretty open about he's the one who drives a lot of his routine, and over years he's learned what works for him, and that's sort of, he takes that with him where he goes. I wonder, is there something that you can take from that in much earlier stage of your career? What are you trying to take from that? Because he's really, been sort of almost, I don't want to say his own pitching coach, but he really controls a lot of, what he needs to get ready.
Yeah, no, he definitely is his own machine, we'll call it like that. He knows what Sonny Gray needs, and that's awesome, and he knows what makes him successful and what doesn't and all that stuff. And having conversations, and we had those conversations about finding who you are as a pitcher. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to blow your doors off, and hopefully I'm the guy that will just pitch. And that's kind of what he had said throughout his career. He was like, I had to execute. He has one of the best breaking balls in the world, and that's the pitch he's going to rely on to get a lot of the swing and miss and a lot of the strikeouts and stuff like that. So he's not going to try and be the changeup guy. He's not going to try and be the guy that's going to throw a fastball by you, because realistically, he's not going to do that all that often. He might, and credit to him when he does, but he's the guy that's going to spin the heck out of the breaking balls, and that's where he's had success. And yeah, with the routines and stuff like that, he was his own machine, and he did what he needed to do each and every day. And yeah, it was just part of his process and who Sonny Gray was.
You joked about maybe lasting until the second cut this spring, but you're an experienced AAA pitcher. You've been through the ups and downs now.
Mm-hmm.
What mindset are you bringing into camp? There are jobs open in the St. Louis starting rotation. Is that something that you've set your sight on?
No, I'm just taking it day by day. I mean, tomorrow's a new day. Got to have success there. Can't miss my Uber to the airport. So it's just step by step. I'm just looking forward to the next time I get to throw, next time I get to get off a mound, stuff like that. I'm not even looking that far ahead, if I'm being completely honest with you.
It seems like every pitcher responds differently to the pro ball when they get to AAA. What was that process like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a different baseball. I'm not going to disagree with that. Some guys have, immediate success and don't have issues with it. I'd say specifically, like I throw the ball kind of weird with like my grips and things of that nature. But I really don't think it was an issue last year. I just think I was kind of all out of whack, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Should have asked, you've had to go to the normal winter health-wise, like you're back to.
Yeah,
our level.
I'm 100%. We're in business.
Haim said that the way he looks at you is no different. That yes, you did struggle last year, but he still sees you as a guy who can get to this level. What does that do for your confidence? And you have to remind yourself that you can still be that guy.
No, I mean, I'm kind of in the same headspace, except for, now I've got a year of, I'm not going to call it struggling, but just a year of unfortunate events and having to learn from those events. I appreciate Haim for saying those things. Obviously, he didn't and doesn't have to think of me the same way because, I'm not the same guy coming off of my 2024 season, so I do appreciate that. But no, the expectations are still the same, that I can have success at the big league level, and that's never wavered.
As far as just off-season spent Orange County area?
Yes, sir. OC. I'd rather be in St. Louis right now. The weather's a little better here.
As far as like the training, anything different than previous years for you?
Not really, no. Still throwing at my high school, still going to my same gym. Just kind of doing my own thing, trying to get back to being successful.
Do you feel like you're back in sync in your mechanics?
I feel good right now. Yeah, I mean, we won't really know until we're fully revved up and batters in the box and people eyes on, stuff like that. But in terms of where I could be January, what's the date, 18th, 17th today, I'm in a pretty good spot.
Did you have to pile on any extra throws this winter just based on the innings you didn't get last year? Like, is there any of that stuff?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you feel out of whack all year? Like, because towards the end of the year, you started putting it together a little bit, finding a little bit more consistent success.
Sure.
Did you start to sync back up at the end of last year, or did you feel out of whack all year?
I was pretty out of whack all year. I definitely had more success. I changed a couple things at the end of the year in terms of on the field as well as off the field. So there was a couple things that had been modified, and it was good to see that my body was responding the right way, and I was back to having some success. Again, I still wasn't good at the end of the year. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I don't think I really had a good outing all year last year, to be completely honest with you. So I was pretty out of whack from day one, unfortunately.
When you grew up playing against Michael McGreevy baseball growing up, and now same system with Cardinals, what's he meant to you? How's he kind of helped you out through different things so far in your pro career?
Yeah, I mean, McGreevy, and we have a lot of SoCal guys in the organization, so you kind of just know the vibe of each other. It just makes it naturally a little easier. SoCal people we're a little unique for sure. It's like being from anywhere in the country. It could be, Graceffo's a, New Jersey cat. Like, everyone just got their own style, own rhythm, own flow. And, yeah, I mean, Michael's been great. We've known each other now for over a decade. So it's just cool to see him having success, and hopefully I'll be able to find that similar success.
Do you feel like the command is something that will show back up with the just full health and the changes that you made at the end of last season? Do you feel like that will lock back into what you, expected?
Yeah, I would hope so. Again, with where I was at physically, I really didn't know where the baseball was going whatsoever. It was kind of just a fight against myself for most of an outing, to be completely honest with you. So I'm hoping that if everything goes well, I should be back to normal command-wise.
You told us last year that if you weren't a baseball player, you want to be an investment banker, and you very much find crypto as something that very much intrigues you. Have you been doing any crypto trading now that your mom isn't telling you not to do it, or how's that going?
Yeah, no, she's definitely still telling me not to do it. So that hasn't changed. I still love it. That's all I basically do in terms of like what I really am passionate about. Investment banking, yeah, that's definitely where I think I still would be. Everyone around me thinks I'm still crazy and I wouldn't actually be doing that, but I'm still passionate that I think I would be doing that. And then, yeah, crypto, it's going to be an interesting year for sure. Potentially, the bull run is over, so we'll see what the bear market's got for us in 2026.